same people that call woke snowflakes are the same that throw a tantrum like an emotional toddler because a prefix in their own language. It's not complicated. Cisgender is the opposite of transgender, a person whose self-identity conforms to the gender that corresponds to their biological sex. You were born a female and you identify as a woman. You were born a male and you identify as a man. Let's get something out of the way. Gender identity has nothing to do with sexual orientation. The cis prefix is a neutral label, not derogatory. People invent new words for emotionally charged reference, but soon the euphemism becomes tainted by association, and a new word must be found, which soon acquires its own connotations and so on. If a word that refers to something always appears in sentences where that thing is framed negatively, then that term will take on that negativity. Linguistics refer to this process as perjuration. Oriental became Asian American, and Pacific Islander. And don't get me started with all of the terms that have gone through the African American community. Do you know what nomenclature hasn't changed and therefore is considered a neutral label? White. Shocking. Cis is from Latin origin, meaning on the side of. The earliest known gender-related use of the prefix in any language was in 1914 in a German language book on sexology. This prefix can also be seen in the cis-trans distinction in chemistry, the cis and trans sites of the Golgi apparatus in cellular biology, the cis-trans complementation test in genetics, in the ancient Roman term cisalpingo. Even though the earliest known gender-related use of cis dates back to 1914 in Germany, it wasn't until the 90s that medical academics started to use the term and recognize its importance in transgender studies. In 2015, the terms met the criteria for inclusion in the Oxford English Dictionary, and therefore it was added. For context, transgender was officially added in 2003. Is cisgender a newly changed adjective that comes from an emotionally charged referent? Nope. Therefore, it's not derogatory. Cisgender is a necessary part of an honest conversation about gender, giving language to a privilege that many Americans may never have closely examined. In simpler words, it forces you to examine your own gender identity. If examining your gender identity makes you uncomfortable, does that mean that you are insecure about it? Are you offended as a coping mechanism for your doubts? Or perhaps is it the fact that the label makes you aware that other labeled individuals share the same humanity as you, and therefore you are having an unexpected growth of empathy that directly challenges the veracity of your beliefs? Which one of these last questions triggered you? If you're still too dense to understand why it's not derogatory, and double down that it is, then the only thing left to tell you would be, welcome to the club.